The Avid S4 is a semi-modular control surface based on our flagship S6 system. Part of the Avid control surface family, starting with Avid Control, our free iOS or Android app. From there, we have S1, Dock, S3, building into our workstation class systems of S4 and S6. Throughout the platform, we have consistent mix automation, powerful visual feedback, color coding, and efficient navigation throughout the interface. Let's flip over to the Surface page and take a look at our configuration. You can see we've got a 4-bay, 16-fader S4 configuration with options. S4 can grow up to 5 bays for a maximum of 24 faders. Now, S4 features a unique unified channel strip module with angled knobs providing better ergonomics. We have a preset frame, support for display modules, and as well as those proven S6 workflows like layouts, VCA spill, and expand faders. The 4th bay of our S4 includes option modules. You can see we have dual attention knobs in ours. We also have the ability to add a joystick module for surround or immersive panning, as well as a post module for pack direct style workflows, and finally a display module for master meters. If we press the Tracks button, we have a color-coded grid of all of the track elements from up to 2 connected workstations. Not just Pro Tools, but Cubase, Nuendo, Logic, any other Yukon-powered DAW. We have the ability to manage huge numbers of tracks by leveraging layouts, track folders, and VCA masters efficiently. On the left side of the console, we're going to open up a spill zone to access our VCA masters. This allows us to quickly get to all of our group masters for our different instrument types like drums, bass, percussion, and guitars. We can quickly audition, solo, and then spill the members of those groups into another zone on the desk. Let's solo up the percussion and loops VCA, and then we can press the attention button to bring all the members of the group over to the right side. This allows us to focus on one particular element, for example, the drum loop we can solo, and the magenta view that you're seeing now represents EQ. If we go and grab a low frequency band, you can see it brings up the channel strip plugin, and I can cut or boost. If we want to compress, we have a dedicated function button for dynamics, and now we're controlling threshold, ratio, attack, and release on the channel strip compressor. So any of the members of the instrument groups we've spilled into the right side of the console, we have access to parameters for inserts, sends, EQ, dynamics, heat, mic pre, and more. Let's solo up the guitars next and then hit attention to bring those elements over to the right side. Now, if we want to focus on the main guitar, you can see there's a blue LED illuminated, and that tells the console which strip to change the function for. We have dedicated color-coded function views from EQ, dynamics, pan, sends, heat, and more, and that gets targeted from the focus switch. Let's jump to a different section of the song using the soft keys, which are currently looking at memory locations. Now, up until now, we've been EQing in line for this main guitar. Let's actually go and attention the track, which will light up the options module set with dual attention zones. This gives us super predictable control to access the EQ and dynamics for this McDSP channel strip plugin. We have predictable controls, almost like a piece of outboard gear, where the same band of EQ or the same parameter for the compressor is always going to be located in the same place. So with this workflow, once I've spilled a food group into the right side, in this case we're working on guitars, all I need to do is press the attention switch on the track of my choice, and it's going to light up the option modules. Now, I get to pick what's in there. In this case, I've set it to Dyna and EQ, and you can see we're tweaking a FabFilter Pro Q3, the filters, any of the individual bands that are, again, showing up in the same place. Above that green section, that's dedicated dynamics. When I touch that, it's actually going to go and bring up the plugin in Pro Tools. This is Pro C2. Now, the beautiful thing about this is I can go and attention a different guitar track and start tweaking EQ. Obviously, the UI, the visual interface of the plugin is very different, but the controls in the dedicated section are the same. These dedicated knob modules in the options bay are set up to present a default view on attention. You can see we've got dynamics in EQ, and that's generally what we're looking for. But if we want, we can actually swap them out for any other possible function. From the touchscreen, I can go and show all of the color-coded parameters, including heat and sends and even insert parameters. We'll dive into some of the harmonic tools there. Now I can actually go and touch sends and then correlate that with the physical knobs. We'll touch harmonic and then touch the physical knobs. Now the bottom knob module is lit up teal, representing insert parameters for the black box processor. I can go in and tweak harmonics, mix percentage, saturation, any aspect of this plugin from tactile controls. Meanwhile, above in yellow, I have all of the sends on encoders that I can send into room and plate and delay, and I've got color-coded tactile control for other elements of this attention track. So once we've finished tweaking our harmonic processor, we can press attention again on the track, bring back our default view of dynamics on the top and EQ on the bottom. If we want to keep compression on the top but add sends to the bottom, I can literally touch and dock the sends now to the bottom knob module. One of the most powerful features on S4 is the ability to take a collection of tracks and to bring those into a group called a layout. That can then be populated into a spill zone for instant access to any type of track element. In this case, we've created one for effects returns, so I can quickly keep a source track on the right and then send into effects returns that are controlled on the left side of the desk. Now, the left side of the console, those channels are lit up blue, indicating that they're part of a layout. That layout we brought up with our effects returns, our room, our plate, slap, harmonizer. On the right side, we've got our dynamics, and on the bottom, the sends that are pushing into those same effects returns. So for our guitar loop, we want to bring up some of the level on the room reverb, we can do that. Or touch into the send into the Leslie, we can do that as well. Or maybe bring up a little bit of plate, we can do that. And then finally, there's also a delay send if we want to use that short delay as well. Now, the second that we go and re-attention that track, it's going to bring us back to our default view, which is dynamics on the top and EQ on the bottom. For the attention track, we have the ability to create a custom fader map for parameters of plugins, sends, EQ, dynamics, and bring those down to the faders. This allows you incredibly precise control for either static changes or dynamic automation. You can see we're actually changing the filters on a Pro Q3 for our guitar loop now in this EQ magenta mode. If I press dynamics, we can literally go and access the compressor, and we've got threshold, ratio, attack, release. If we go back to the sends, we can quickly push into, for example, our Leslie and our room reverb that we had access to previously on the attention knobs. And part of the beauty of these expand fader maps is that once you build your map for EQ and dyne and sends, they're totally reusable. So you bring up, you attention a different track with a different third-party EQ or compressor, it's still going to bring up the same set of parameters that you mapped because of that default template that the system knows. That left side zone, which is currently looking at layouts, can easily be retargeted to bring back our VCA masters so that if we want to say, hey, let's listen to our guitars and bass again, just isolate those, solo those, let's attention our bass and bring those tracks over. We're gonna then attention the bass DI, and you can see there's an SSL plugin on that, channel strip plugin on that track. Whether we're controlling from the dedicated knobs in an attention zone or inline or with expand faders, we have tactile control of plugins. S4 is all about efficient and creative control. The ability to find an element within a massive session, access it quickly, and start working on EQ, dynamics, sends, pan placement, being able to access color-coded functions within either inline, in a dedicated knob module, or with expand faders. The ability to customize sections of the console into zones for VCA masters and layouts, and even tracks from other workstations from, for example, Logic and Cubase and Nuendo. The ability to equally control Avid or third-party plugins from dedicated controls. The ability to actually go in and create custom maps where you have tremendous tactile control, either for static moves or for really complex dynamic elements as well. S4 is a powerhouse workstation controller that allows you unprecedented visual feedback and control of your workstation.